That is an awful song. That's a better song. That's a slightly better song. Da 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 dum, da 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 dum. Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute, hasn't it, guys? It's been a while. I was too busy on the shorts grind, but now I finally find some time to actually just be able to chill and hang out. Bill Cipher, what's up? Kaylee and Kaleidoscopia. How's it going, guys? Baldy, I'm just hitting my mic, man. I'm just hitting it. How are you, man? I got the case of the sniffles. All right, I have a case of the sniffles. I'm kind of like sneezy, but that's not gonna stop me from going live and talking to you guys. You know what's up? How's it going, guys? Epic Gamer. I've watched you for a while now, dude. How long though? How long? Guys, there's been like a lot of drama happening lately, hasn't it? It's just been non-stop. Like, I feel like every single day something in the gaming industry is just blowing up. And not in a good way either. You know, we had like the MasterCard nonsense, we had like the censorship with MasterCard and Visa. itch.io and Steam getting completely nuked. Well, not completely nuked, but you know what I mean. I'm kind of exaggerating here. Yeah, is Hollow Knight the B Souls? Hope you feel better. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm fine. Did you hear GTA 6 leak? They have custom music like it's from the game. No, I haven't heard about that. I haven't heard about that. I don't know what that's about. Yeah. I know that GTA 6 has been leaked a couple of times already, right? That's not even like the first time it gets leaked. So it's kind of funny how we just keep getting more and more leaks, and I feel like it's almost it almost does it positive marketing. Whenever you see something get leaked over and over and over again, you're like, okay, yeah, it just makes me want to play it more and more and more and more, right? When it comes to like leaks in general, sometimes they can be super, you know, they can just kill the hype entirely. Meanwhile, other times it's just like, bro, just release it already. I just want to play this game. And I feel like that's how people feel with GTA 6. That's how they feel, man. I literally saw an Andrew Tate photo and said, hey, that's Steven with glasses. That's funny, man. That's funny. Oh, man. I guess I have a bald twin or something. Yo, I saw an old video of you with hair. Ew. I should delete all those. Nah. I'll let you guys enjoy the much more simpler times before I was enslaved to the razor blade every other day. Have you ever tried Subnautica? I haven't tried Subnautica, but I don't know if there's been any update with what's been going on with Subnautica and Crafton. You guys know about that, right? Subnautica and Crafton, and like it was a multi-million-dollar bonus that's kind of going missing, right? Because they had to delay the video game for a couple of months until 2026. I use Game Rant to see some news in there. Game Rant? Like the website? They're gonna start censoring walls? That's weird. That's weird, but they really are censoring everything, aren't they? They really are just doing that, man. I saw, like, today we talked about the Online Safety Act, right? We talked about the Online Safety Act, which is why the UK is currently, you know, they literally just put this into effect, and people are already, you know, amassing a ridiculous amount of signatures just to get it repealed. Like, they hate this thing, man. I mean, justifiably so. They justifiably hate it. But, you know, to give you guys a little bit of backstory, I'm pretty sure you guys already know about this, you know? But the Online Safety Act, that was just, you know, it was a petition from 2023. You know, this was all the way back in the day that they actually went ahead and, you know, they approved of this law, but now it's finally taken into effect. And I don't know if you're like from the UK, and if you are, then ripperonis pepperonis to you, man. Ripperonis pepperonis. But basically, there's been like a mass censoring wave going on where a lot of UK content is being I mean, a lot of content is inaccessible for UK individuals unless they verify with their ID, which is super hella invasive, you know. It's honestly terrible that they have to go through that. I think that in some instances, the US also does that. I think there are some states where if you want to log into I guess a website that you'd rather not have in your search history, some states, I think Texas is one of them, I'm not really sure, they're requiring you to like submit an ID to be able to like, hey, you want to access this one particular website? Well, too bad, man. You gotta like submit an identification to prove that you're actually above age to be able to actually access this website. But yeah, with the Online Safety Act that was passed very recently, well, not passed, that was implemented very recently, well, people are kind of screwed, man, because now it's not just the NSFW websites, it's just like any content that the government deems offensive, right? I'm from France, where we are mass censored too. Good act, bad planning. The thing is that I don't think they ever meant it to be a good act in the first place. Yeah, I don't think that they were ever planning on using this, you know, in any positive way whatsoever. I think it was more so of a Trojan horse in order to get more control over the populace. Because the way that I see it is just like, whenever you want to get something to pass through Congress quickly, one thing you have to do is go like, think of the children. Think of the children. And then that automatically gives you like a boost of reputation and wanting to get something passed, right? So I'm pretty sure that these lawmakers, they were like, hey, let's actually try calling it the Online Safety Act for children, but the children don't really have to do anything. It's the adults that have to give up their identification willingly, so that way they can have access to the internet. And by doing so, well, now whenever you do a shit post in poor taste, you could say, then that gives them a lot more access for them to, you know, go ahead and find you IRL, because they already have your address, they have your identification, they have so many things, man. It's just ridiculous. It really is just such a weird and distorted way of living. I don't know if I'd be happy doing that. Like, if I'd lived in the UK right now, I'd be like, I'm not too excited about living here. I should probably look into GTFOing out of here, man. Yeah, because imagine you're just opening up Discord, and then you just like have an age-restricted channel warning going like, hey, you have to verify your age to make sure that you are the person that you are, you know? That sucks. That really, really sucks, man. I don't want internet freedom to go away. Imagine they ban swearing online. That's the thing. I don't think they're necessarily going to ban stuff. I think they're just ban. I think that their main goal is just have an overwhelming amount of control into what gets put out on the internet, you know? So it's not so much that you're not going to be able to access certain websites. Yeah, that's like the surface level observation, but it's more so trying to control what people are allowed to say. Steven might get arrested after the stream by the UK government. Well, it's a good thing I don't live in the UK, right? Yeah, it's a good thing I don't live in the UK, huh? So yeah, we've been seeing a lot of issues with this. There was a petition that was filed, like I mentioned, called the Repeal the Online Safety Act. And it just keeps getting more and more signatures. Get the petition data, about petition data. No, this just shows you the numbers, right? So the government already responded to people signing this petition that says, we believe the scope of the Online Safety Act is far broader and restrictive than is necessary in a free society. We already saw this with people getting their own, you know, like if you're an artist and you draw NSFW stuff, or even just offensive stuff, you know, things that the government doesn't like, you're restricted from watching your own content that you post unless you verify yourself on the internet, which is not something you ever really want to do. You know, you never really want to do that. Because if you're already doing something that the government doesn't like, and it's a government that's been proven that will come after you legally if you do something that they don't like, You don't want to do that, man. Right, they're going to arrest the people that signed this petition. That would just drive people way, way into like the radical spectrum of things. For some reason, some NSFW website, which I won't mention, aren't blocked in France yet. Nice. Sweet. That's actually pretty awesome. But yeah, for instance, the definitions in part 2. Let me just kill the music. You know, this is just the music is just way too upbeat for the seriousness of the topic. Yeah, for instance, the definition in part 2 covers online hobby forums, which we do not think have the resource to comply with the act, so we are shutting down instead. We think that Parliament should repeal the act and work towards producing proportionate legislation rather than risking clamping down on civil society. Talking about trains, football, video games, or even hamsters because it can't deal with individual bad faith actors. So, yeah, that was the petition, and now the government promptly responded. This is on the 28th. Yeah, they responded today. It says the government is working with Ofcom to ensure that online in-scope services are subject to robust but proportionate regulation through the effective implementation of the Online Safety Act. So they gave you like an entire paragraph. I'm just going to TLDR this, but from what I understand, they basically said, thank you for your consideration, we don't care. Yeah, the government has no plans to repeal the Online Safety Act and is working closely with Ofcom to implement the act as quickly and effective as possible to enable UK users to benefit from its protections. Yeah, I like how they word it in a way that says, yeah, this is going to benefit the UK users from the protections of the Online Safety Act. Now, imagine this. Like, imagine you guys, I'm assuming a lot of you guys are American, or you probably don't live in the UK. I don't think you'd be allowed to watch certain types of, certain types of content that I post here if you did live in the UK. But imagine yourself for a moment that you are living amongst this type of government. Would you feel like you're benefiting from having less access? Or would you feel like you're actually getting something positive out of being restricted? Whoop. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm just, it's a lose-lose situation. It really is just a lose-lose situation. But again, they're just making it seem like, oh, you guys are getting the better end of the bargain, by the way. You guys are doing this. Hello, I'm back. I used to be in the streams ago. Hello, Hassan. What's up? Return of the King. I know. No, I feel scammed. I feel like super scammed as well. It's just, I just find it funny how they're framing it in that sense, you know? And, the current workaround has always been to use VPNs, and that's like the main conversation that people are saying, going like, oh, by the way, we can just, yeah, the solution to this is to just use VPNs. If you live in the UK, VPN yourself, and that's it, the problem goes away. They're trying to crack on that as well, unfortunately. Wait, can't you use VPNs? That's the whole thing, Larry. Right now, you can use VPNs. Right now, in this moment, you can use VPNs. And we saw how the usage for ProtonVPN is specifically. ProtonVPN. Let me just search it up. Yeah, if I go to ProtonVPN, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Yeah, just a few minutes after the Online Safety Act went into effect last night, ProtonVPN signups originating in the UK surged by more than 1,400%. Unlike previous surges, this one is sustained. Right, so ProtonVPN is from what I hear, is a free VPN. I should probably look into it because I pay for other VPNs, and I just learned about this one. But yeah, the fact that you can use VPNs right now to get across the Online Safety Act from the UK, that's good. That's awesome. But I saw this earlier, and I yeah, yeah. This is not looking good. It says Cloudflare blocks UK pirate streaming sites. Cloudflare restricts UK pirate stream sites, including UK VPN servers, per court order. Motion Picture Association, so Disney Plus, Netflix, blah blah blah, targets 14 plus sites, up to 200 domains. Users encounter an error for, this unavailable for legal reasons. Non-UK VPN servers may bypass restrictions. So maybe I'm understanding this, maybe I'm not understanding this properly. Maybe I'm just too dumb. My brain doesn't, like, wrap around it properly, but it does look like they're trying to go after the VPNs. Which is something I never thought it'd be possible, you know? I never thought this would be possible. Because the whole point of a VPN is the fact that, you know, it lets you bypass. It lets you bypass a lot of these restrictions by connecting to a server that's like halfway across the world. It says, Labor could ban VPNs after Online Safety Act surge. Now, I haven't read this. I want to read this because this is exactly what I'm talking about. I just opened up the little tab. How long the stream gonna last? Until 5 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, that's the cutoff time. Okay, it says Labor could ban the use of virtual private networks, so VPNs, after their use has skyrocketed to avoid restrictions imposed by the Online Safety Act. A VPN reroutes a device's internet. Okay, they're just explaining what a VPN does. Yeah. Labor has previously supported moves to restrict VPN usage when the Online Safety Act was first going through Parliament. Prominent back-end MP Sarah Champion launched a campaign against them. See, again, they can say as much as they want, hey, we're against VPNs. I don't know how much power they have to actually be able to work with them and shut them down. But the fact that they're against it, you know, doesn't mean anything unless there's a way to actually take them down. It says, my new Clause 54 would require the Secretary of State to publish within 6 months the bill's passage a report on the effect of VPN use on Ofcom's ability to enforce the requirements under Clause 112. If VPNs cause significant issues, the government must identify those issues and find solutions rather than avoiding difficult problems. Yeah. So I guess one of the alternatives, just like how they can restrict your ability to use certain websites unless you identify yourself, would be to just crack down on the VPNs as well. Because at least from what I've seen, most VPNs, the way that they work, and this is coming from a guy who's used a lot of VPNs to look for certain things that you would acquire through methods in which... Anyways, yeah, the way that VPNs work, from my understanding, is that when you log into a VPN, I think your internet service provider can't, they can't see what you're browsing or what you're looking for or what you're downloading, but what they can see is that you're using the VPN, right? It's like a shield. It's like you're here, and like there's a shield in between, and then there's like the internet service provider, and all the internet service provider can see is just like, hey, NordVPN. Or in this case, ProtonVPN. It's like an acting shield. They know it's there. They know the VPN is there. They can see it, but they can't see what's behind it. And the VPN does a really good job at, if they're not one of those VPNs that have just been caught in this, I don't remember the drama that happened, but there's one drama in which one of the VPNs actually wasn't as secure, and when pressured by the government, they were forced to give out some certain data. I don't remember that drama, honestly, but most VPNs do a really good job at just obfuscating and blocking and not, just taking whatever you search and just, it's lost. I can't find it if I wanted to, Yeah, I have a question for a while. Is there a legitimately great way to protect kids, or is it a pretty difficult thing to accomplish? Yeah, if you want to protect kids on the internet, the best thing you can do is just give kids a place to exist in the internet. That's honestly it. Like, the main issue with the internet right now is that there is no kid space. Hanok Games, what's up? How's it going? Yeah, the main problem with the internet right now is that there is no kid space. And you know what? I think I found a really good way to explain this, because I know you guys like to watch this. Okay? I think you guys will kind of understand, right? Because I can just write... Damn it, Pirate, how do you do this? How does Pirate do it so well? I can't even write. Because it's so tiny. No! Guys, how does Pirate Software use this, man? How does he use this? Okay, there we go. That's how you do it. That was a primary color, so you switch the primary color. There we go. That makes sense. Okay, so this is how it goes, right? This is how it goes. You have kids on the internet, right? On the internet. That's the internet. So back in the day, what you would have is a bubble over here and a bubble over here, correct? And what you would have over here is the services that are usually meant for adults. Back in the day, we didn't have like X, we had Twitter, and Twitter had an age requirement for you to be able to sign in. And then you had like these adult areas like the forums, correct? So here we had forums. We had forums, we had MySpace. And usually, whenever you saw a kid on MySpace, you'd be like, you kind of don't belong here, buddy. What are you doing here? You know? You're like, hey, bro, this isn't your spot. Maybe just don't go here. Maybe go to this other circle instead that we've curated so that way you have a space for you to be a kid safely on the internet. Right? So in this little kid-friendly space, you would have little circles. And for example, this one was Wizard 101. Wizard 101 is a kid's game. So if I'm a kid and I want to play some Wizard 101, I'm welcome in Wizard 101. See? You see how that works? You see that? And then if I want to go to this little one here, what do we have? We have Club Penguin. Another kid-friendly space. And I think that in this day, in this current day, you know, Wizard 101 is dead. Club Penguin is dead. What other websites used to be for kids that we don't have anymore? Oh yeah. We had Toontown online. These are examples of MMORPGs, but you know, you used to have like the Cartoon Network website, you used to have like the Nickelodeon website. You used to have a lot of options for you to be able to be a kid safely on the internet. Yeah, there's like a lot of different options, man. There's a lot of different options. But now what's happened? What's slowly happened with the internet is that this kid space has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where what do kids use these days? Maybe the Facebook account for teenagers, since Facebook has an account specifically designated for teenagers, which is much more restricted. But, you know, to be real, kids are using Instagram. Kids are using MySpace. Kids are using TikTok. Kids are using X, Twitter. Kids are using Twitch. You know, they're using all of these services where they interact with adults as well. And what's happened is that if you go to Wizard 101 right now, it's all adults that are playing this. If you go to Club Penguin right now, it's all adults playing Club Penguin. If you go to Toontown, I'm pretty sure there's nobody playing Toontown that's under the age of 37. YouTube Kids is for little, like, infants. It's literally for infants. I don't think they're there. I don't think there's any actual kids watching YouTube Kids. Like, I'm an adult, and because I have an infant, I have to show my kid YouTube Kids sometimes. So I would argue that I use YouTube Kids more than actual kids use YouTube Kids. Like, I know more about Miss Rachel and Paw Patrol and, God, what's the other one? God, there's so many of them, man. Yeah, Canticos and all that crap. I know more about that than your average teenager, for example, right? Which is what this Online Safety Act is trying to protect, correct? So yeah, the thing is that there's less and less places on the internet for kids to be a kid, and they've just like conglomerated or homogenized into like the adult platforms, and now they're exposed to adult content, I suppose, right? Because even if you go to Facebook, if you go to like TikTok, unfortunately TikTok is like a wasteland for adult content. You guys don't think so, but yeah, TikTok, there's like an entire section, especially if you're a guy, where it's literally just girls that just try to flash you for views. That's it. And then once you get into that algorithm, you're like, how do I get out of this algorithm, man? I just want to like watch actual content. What is this crap, you know? So yeah, the solution to protecting kids on the internet, there probably is one, but I don't think that the Online Safety Act and the Kids Online Safety Act, which is the US version of it that they're trying to pass, I don't think that these are the answers necessarily, honestly. Yeah, I don't think the Kids Online Safety Act is the way to go when it comes to protecting kids on the internet. I know how. All right, give me your suggestions, guys. Snapchat and more. Bro. Snapchat is also just full with OF models selling their private snaps and whatever. Don't you think the UK ban is protecting children? Nope, not at all. Nope. I really don't think it's protecting children. Especially since they're assuming that children are dumb. And, you know, kids these days, they're already bypassing the verification methods simply by using Death Stranding 2. Right? I think I showed this already, but let me show you Death Stranding 2 on censor. Sure. I hope I don't get censored pictures. That would be weird. Yeah, this is why I don't show it on my main monitor. Yep. Here we go. Here's an example, right? As PC Gamer reports, Brits are using Death Stranding photo mode and selfies of Sam Bridges to bypass Discord's age checks under the UK's Online Safety Act. Just another win for Kojima's ultra-realistic visuals. Yeah, so they're under the assumptions that kids are dumb. That kids, when they're presented with a wall, they're just going to be like, yep, that's the wall. This is as far as I go. When in reality, it's just like they're going to try to like guesstimate and try to figure out a way to like beat the system. Of course, this is a lot more tedious versus the previous alternative, which is just clicking yes. Like in the past, you would go to like a sketchy website and they would just be like, are you sure you're over 18? And then you would just click yes. And now they're literally asking you like, hey, you need to verify that you're over 18. And you want to send a selfie of yourself? And they don't even have to go as far as using pictures from a video game. Like, they can literally just use AI. Like, you can literally go to Grok AI or something and just go like, hey, send me a picture of a bro smiling. And that's it. Yeah. So I don't think that this is protecting children in any way. It's more so about controlling people and not being happy with the way people are communicating online and wanting more control over them. YouTube has literal nudity. Yeah, YouTube has a bunch of that. Just make Club Penguin too. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. The problem is that, like, my main concern with online kid-friendly spaces is that they immediately get bombarded with adults who never grew out of their kid phase. Let me explain. Okay? This is where the whole Disney adult conversation comes into play. Because whenever you play Wizard 101, you're playing it for nostalgic reasons because you played it as a kid. But whenever you play a game that is now for kids, but now you're an adult, let's say Wizard 102 launched tomorrow, I can guarantee you that most of the signups would be from adults. Because there's a lot of adults that actually find kids' entertainment to be genuinely entertaining. And they're just like, okay, yeah, I want to make this my space. And then as soon as the adults get in there, suddenly they want the adult treatment. And they're like, okay, but let's add it like this. Okay, but okay, let's play it like this. You know, and they want more control over it. And then kids don't really have the chance or space to just be themselves. You know, they can't have nothing. Yeah. Like, parents need to do their jobs, but yeah, like, honestly, if you want to like deal with the Online Safety Act, but in a more effective manner, you don't need more control over people. You just need parents to be parents. You just need them, you know, properly educating their kids and warning them about the dangers of the internet. Like, I can't believe that's actually like a lost technique. I don't know about you guys, but like back in the day, people would actually tell you. You would get commercials on the internet. Hey, don't talk to strangers on the internet. Hey, don't talk to this on the internet. Hey, be careful of which sketchy websites you visit. You know, there's like actual warnings about it. And meanwhile, now it's just like, oh, just post you're a kid. Just post on social media. Yeah, just make it an account and post a couple of videos and then just expose yourself to like this cesspool of people who are, it's like a mixture of people who are both good and well intentioned and are just there to just exist, but also there's like a specific group of people who are genuinely terrible people. They're just genuinely terrible people. Is YouTube a social media? Yes. YouTube is one of the weirdest social medias because YouTube inherently doesn't tell you to post. YouTube wants you to consume. Like for example, if I go to Twitter right now, the first thing that you see from Twitter, apart from the collective shout stuff, which we'll talk about, right? The first thing that I see on Twitter is what's happening. You know, Twitter's like, hey, you want to say something? And it's just like, hey, you want to post something? Hey, do you want to talk about something? You want to share something? Yeah, go share something, man. Go share something. Meanwhile, if you open up YouTube, if you open up the YouTube app, if I go to YouTube, it says search. It says testosterone here for whatever reason. It has Minecraft. See, it's like it doesn't want me to post. It says create on the little corner here, but mostly it just wants me to consume. YouTube is a weird social media because YouTube doesn't want you to be a poster. They want you to be a consumer first, which is a weird platform, but it is technically a social media. It's just one of the weird ones, honestly. Yeah, kids dox themselves because they want to get into that, and adults, they don't want to dox themselves, so kids go to adult websites. Yeah. Any platform that allows sharing of social media. Do people not know about stranger danger? No, they don't. They really don't. Or at least it's like a tactic that's slowly been lost to time. I think that's really what's been happening. People just stopped caring about online safety. Especially when we have a like this sort of culture that just incentivizes you to just put yourself out there, just talk about whatever. Just like, hey, share everything on the internet, like if the internet's like some magical place of safety. But it's really not. YouTube was always like that is about watching as much as possible. Yes, YouTube is all about consumption. Discord, is Discord a social media? That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really know. I don't know if Discord is a social media. I would assume so. I think I would assume so, but we'll have to see. So yeah, I saw this post earlier, and I think this is a pretty complete list of everything that's been happening last week. And when I say that, hey, there's been a lot of things that are happening this week. This is what I'm talking about, right? This is what I'm talking about. There's been a lot of things that have been happening. It says, let me summarize everything that's happened in the last week. So, first of all, Collective Shout contacts payment processors to get Steam and itch.io to remove adult games. Right? Sorry, I'm panicking. There's no reason to panic. Why are you panicking? There's no reason to panic. Okay, so we already talked about Collective Shout the other day, and the way that they've been working on censoring Steam and itch.io, which really sucks because itch.io is genuinely one of my favorite websites. Like, it really is genuinely one of my favorite websites. This is the place you go to just find indie games that people make. It might be just like an incomplete indie game. It might be like an entire thing. People just want to share. You know, this is like the go-to place for indie developers to upload their games. And if you just love playing these smaller experiences, this is like the place to go. And I just love doing this, you know? I just love it. Yeah. From the itch.io blog, this is a couple of days ago. But yeah, itch.io, they say that they de-indexed all NSFW games from their browse and search pages because of the payment processor drama. So this is the little recap. I'm pretty sure you guys are already up to date with this. But the organization Collective Shout, that you just click on this, and it takes you to the page of the Australian group that likes to bully companies and pressure the payment processors into silencing things that they disagree with, in this case adult NSFW games. Yeah, they're the ones responsible, or at least they're the ones that are claiming responsibility for censoring these sort of games. Yeah, so it says, recently we came under scrutiny from our payment processors regarding the nature of some content hosted on itch.io due to a game titled No Mercy, which was temporarily available on itch.io before being banned back in April. And the organization Collective Shout launched a campaign against Steam and itch.io directing concerns to our payment processors about the nature of certain content found on both platforms. Is No Mercy still on Steam? No, that one's been removed from here too. Yeah, that one's also gone. Still baffles me how random Australian group was successfully able to pressure these massive payment companies into actually doing something, let alone of this size. Yeah. The thing is that the random Australian group has been at it for a very long time. Like, this isn't their first rodeo. They've been at this for a very long time. And to be fair, you know, if we think about it from a critical standpoint, says the less critical man on the planet, if you as MasterCard and Visa already have disagreeing viewpoints of a certain thing, if you're like, okay, I really don't like the way that this is going, but I'm not going to do anything about it, right? Visa and MasterCard, this isn't their first rodeo with censorship. I know that a lot of anime and a lot of other NSFW content has been getting censored, especially in Japan, by these payment processors. That's already been happening. So they've already proven that they don't like certain aspects, and they're willing to actually refuse to do business with certain companies in order to achieve, you know, that level of censorship. Like, that was already in their game plan, but they didn't really act on it until they found a scapegoat. So I'm pretty sure that Collective Shout, this group, was like, hey, I don't like these video games. Can you do something about it? Right? I'm pretty sure that MasterCard and Visa just use that as an excuse to go like, okay, yeah, you know what? Not only are we gonna remove them, but we're also gonna pin the blame on you. We're also gonna do that. Like, that was already in our plans. We were already going to do that. But now that you're saying, hey, I'm willing to take the fall for this, then yeah, I'm sure I'll go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and get rid of it. So yeah, the organization called Collective Shout, I'm pretty sure that they just gave Visa and MasterCard the green light to do what they already wanted to. And now, from the perspective of the consumer, Visa and MasterCard are the ones that are just like, oh, yeah, we were pressured to do this. We had to cave in to the demands of this one individual group because their demands were just too strong, man. See, that's like the perspective that Visa and MasterCard are going with. They're basically using Collective Shout as a scapegoat in order to like shut all these groups down, all these games down, and basically achieve what they wanted to do in the first place. They use it as like a weapon. Exactly. Like, if it was their first ever time, if this was their first ever rodeo, I'd be like, wow, they really caved in to the Collective Shout movement. Wow, damn, these people must have a lot of power. But the fact that this isn't like their first time when it comes to like using their duopoly as a way of controlling the market and deciding what sort of entertainment is okay and which one is not, then it just, from the perspective of a consumer that's been through that multiple times, it's just like, oh, okay, this is just a scapegoat. They're just using them as a scapegoat. Because a group like Collective Shout, this isn't important. These people are not important because they don't really have any control on the market. They can't really do anything. So the one thing they can do is complain. The one thing they can do is elevate their voices and be like, hey, we don't like this stuff. And they just like complain to the upper head. They're basically complainy pants, right? So Collective Shout, we can go and be against them and manage to shut them down, but like 10,000 more groups can show up in their name, right? We can have 1 billion more groups like this show up, and they're never going to really have any power unless someone gives them the power, unless Visa and MasterCard go like, you know what, I'll give you the power. I'll say like, yes, we're going to do this, and we're going to say that you're the one who actually drove us to do this. So if you guys really want change, if you guys really want to enact change, it's not about going after Collective Shout. It's about talking to the payment processors. Hi, just followed. Welcome. Hello, how's it going? Are they going to ban GTA 5 next? From what I saw, Collective Shout did want to ban GTA 5. Yeah, they did want to ban GTA 5. They try to go after it because of the violence. The worst part is they'll ban any game they see fit, not only NSFW. There was actually, let me actually look it up. I saw something similar to that. Yeah, here we go. I saw this. It says, no sooner than I did this post and Fear and Hunger, a non-porn game, got banned. Video in the reply. Okay. Fear and Hunger banned due to Visa and MasterCard stuff. So from what I understand, this is a non-porn game. Let's see if we can look it up. Fear and Hunger game. But just because it touches subjects that they don't agree with, then that's a good enough reason for them to want to ban it. I can still find it here though. So it's just like, it makes me wonder where the ban is from. It says Fear and Hunger is a horror dungeon crawler, that sounds fun, set in the dark and hopeless dungeon of Fear and Hunger. The game is a hybrid survival horror and dungeon crawler genres with its influences ranging from Silent Hill to NetHack. There are roguelike elements to the game as well as heavy foundational in the JRPG. So this one, I can still buy it. It's still here. So let me check the update history because maybe they got removed from somewhere else. Nah, they're still here, man. They're still here. All right, we a car company buy what we want as long as it's legal. Yeah. Trying and convince them as might as well try and free North Korea. I would have better chances. No, from what I understand, I've been seeing a lot of posts. I didn't save any. Sometimes I just save random stuff, man. Sometimes I'll just be liking random stuff on Twitter, and I'll just be like, I'm saving this for later, and then I have like a laundry list of things that I get saved. But I saw some people saying that Visa and MasterCard have been getting harassed for the past couple of days. They've been getting harassed by a lot of people trying to complain about their censorship. And that's honestly the way that it has to be. Like, you have a group like Collective Shout, for example, right? Collective Shout, basically, what they're trying to do is be loud, right? What they're trying to do is just be as loud as possible, so that way, they grab the attention of people like Visa and MasterCard. And in response to that, instead of trying to cancel Collective Shout instead of trying to go like, hey, these guys are awful, let's try to cancel them, what you really have to do is try to be louder than Collective Shout. You know, you have to make more noise. You have to like go ahead and just bring the attention to the payment processors themselves. Because yes, payment processors, it's a duopoly. They have basically such a huge amount of control over the market. It's almost impossible to not do business with them, right? So since they're the ones in control, the best thing you can do is just raise enough, make enough of a shitstorm that they have to listen to you. And even if it's in vain, even if it doesn't work, even if it was all for nothing at the end of the day, at least you can say that you tried. You know, at least you can say that, hey, we tried to make it as loud as possible. It's fine if they're banning stuff like Gooner games, but any game that they find unfit, I personally don't, I don't know, I don't see the thing, I don't see the enjoyment about playing a Gooner game. That's just me. I know there's a market for that, and I know some people like that, but I don't think that they should ban them either. You know, from my perspective and understanding, where I draw the line is if something is illegal, ban it. Because it's illegal. Obviously, it makes sense. If it's not illegal, let it exist in the market, and whoever's interested in playing that, let them be able to enjoy it. That's the freedom part that we love so much about the USA, right? So even though I can disagree with stuff like Gooner games and adult websites and all that stuff, even though I can be like, not my thing, I can still be like, okay, it's people want to go ahead and do that, sure, why not? Let them be able to do stuff. It feels like they're trying to have all M-rated games disappear, and it really does feel like that. Because like I mentioned before, Collective Shout didn't try to go only after the Gooner games, right? Just anything that remotely has that sense of sexual content that they just immediately try to go afterwards, because they did try to go after GTA 5. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to want to go after GTA 6 as well. At this point, they're going to ban Helldivers 2. More banned than what it already is. Yeah. They want to ban Helldivers 2 more banned than what it already is? Isn't Helldivers 2 still banned in like 100 countries? Because of the PlayStation Network requirements? Are they going to ban the whole Steam store? No, they're not going to do that. Never thought Steam would bend over to other companies. Yeah, that's why I think that Steam is in trouble. But you have to think about it from this perspective. Do you guys want the paint? Do you guys want the paint chart again? Do you guys want the Pirate Software paint chart? We can do the paint chart. Sure, we can do the paint chart again. We can do the Pirate Software chart. So this is how it goes with Steam, okay? So this is Steam. And Steam, what is Steam? If we have to describe Steam, Steam is a company, and companies like to make money. And the more money that Steam makes, the happier Steam is. Steam likes money because that's what companies are. That's like the ultimate goal of any company. Like, let me just say it like this. If you're a company and you don't like making money, you are a bad company. You're a really bad company because your job is to make money. And sure, you can make money in different ways, right? You can make money helping people. You can make money screwing people over. Like credit card companies, for example. But in Steam's case, Steam, for the most part, from what I've seen, Steam likes to make people happy by giving them a service of giving them good, affordable games that they can play. But at the end of the day, Steam is a company which likes money. right? And how does Steam make money? Well, let's give a couple of options, right? We have PayPal. PayPal is one of them. That's one. Two, uh, credit cards. Credit cards. What, right? The ones you use to pay for games. You use your credit cards to pay Steam, and Steam gives you games. And then number three, what's the third one? You got PayPal, we got credit cards. What's the third one? Gift cards that you buy at the dollar store? So if we're talking about which ones are, if we're talking about how does Steam make money, well, the most important one and the one that generates the most revenue is credit cards. And when we're talking about credit cards, which ones control the largest market share? It's Visa and MasterCard. Even your debit cards. So we don't even have to go over debit cards. We can just talk about Visa and MasterCard as credit cards, debit cards, payment processors. Their job is to like process payments, especially online payments, because it's not like you can go to Steam HQ, give them like $40 off your wallet and go like, hey, can I have a copy of Helldivers 2, please? That just doesn't happen. Yeah. Need that long hair and to remind people that he works at Blizzard every second. Listen, no. Pirate Software cosplay. You're not wrong because your father used to work at Blizzard. I don't know if this is satire. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. As much as Steam wants to be a great company, and we love Steam because Steam is very pro-consumer, and they try to help us out at every chance that they get, they are at the end a company that needs money to survive. So if you cut off one of their biggest, if not their biggest payment processors, then you're cutting off a huge chunk of the money that they make. And then you're stuck with PayPal, which, surprise, surprise, you have to link your credit card to PayPal, and your credit card also happens to be either a Visa or a MasterCard. And I don't know how much control Visa and MasterCard have over there, but I'm pretty sure they could just tell PayPal, hey, don't take any payments from Steam if you're using our services. I'm pretty sure that could be a thing. And then the other option is to make, use gift cards, and then bada bing, bada boom, Steam goes bankrupt. So it's not so much about Steam, oh, Steam bent the knee. I can't believe Steam would do this. Steam finally gave up. It's just really a business standpoint. It's just like, hey, this sucks, but without this, we don't make money. I need a deeper voice. This is as deep as I can go, man. Hello. Well, you see, guys, the mana gem was actually not ready. It was actually on cooldown. Therefore, I couldn't actually use the mana gem. Therefore, I had to leave all you guys to die. Oh, yes, as a Blizzard employee. Yeah, so that's as low as I can go. Sorry, I can't go any lower than that, man. Are they gonna ban Palworld next? I don't think they will. Just feels sad that could be such a good cause is warped to a way to get rid of things they don't like. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Do you read YouTube chat? No, I never read YouTube chat. Never in my life. Any deeper and it's a regular show intro? I've never seen the regular show intro. I've only ever seen like regular show once it's already happening. And it's such a chaotic show to begin with. Yeah, and it's such a weird, chaotic show to begin with in the first place. Now, one thing I did want to cover, guys, because this is a game that I've actually been told, hey, you should play this. It's mouthwashing. Do you guys know what mouthwashing is? I don't know what this game is about. But from what I saw in yonder Twitter post, was it this one? Yes. It says, breaking censorship news. Mouthwashing has now been removed from itch.io according to the artist and musician of the game. They are now coming for horror games and didn't stop at adult games. And of course, mouthwashing got yoinked from itch search results. Not surprised, was kind of waiting for it to happen. says payment processors like MasterCard and Visa have been pushed by an activist group to deplatform any NSFW content on major platforms. So yeah, I know that mouthwashing is still available on Steam. That much I do know. And I know it's here, but the fact that they removed it from itch.io is kind of like, again, it's just like, are you guys going to stop? How far is this going to go? How far is this going to go, man? If they ban TF2, a lot of people will be pissed, like pissed. I don't think that anyone's going to ban TF2. That's like the friendliest video game ever, man. That is literally the friendliest video game. Right, I don't know how 1,000 people spam calling a company gets thousands of games banned. It's so confusing. Like, if gamers did the same, would it work? It would have to find out, yeah. I mean, that's how whenever you see something like the Kids Online Safety Act being proposed in front of Congress for US, and it's basically the same thing that's happening in the UK. The way that you make this the way that you make this not happen is like this, right? This is getting pushed by lawmakers. Lawmakers, they like being in charge of the law. They like being able to have control and, you know, keep their jobs as lawmakers. And the way that they keep their job is that they're elected by the people. And if enough people go to the lawmakers and go like, hey, I don't like that you're supporting this. If you keep supporting that, I'll be less inclined to vote for you. Then that pressures lawmakers into wanting to do what the people say. Because at the end of the day, the people are the ones who are in control of who's making the laws. Or at least maybe that's how it's supposed to be through the democratic process, you know, voting. So when enough people make a stink about what's going on and what's happening in the world, and they actually talk to their Congress people, then that's how things get done. And now I'm not really too sure how that happens with Visa and MasterCard since they are private companies, but I'm pretty sure that if enough dissatisfied customers go up to them and talk to them and be like, hey, bro, this sucks, I'm pretty sure they'll be more than inclined to do something about it. But yeah, back to the mouth washing thing. Let's go to Steam, because apparently this is still on Steam. This came out in September 2024, and it has 28,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. The 5 crew members of the Tulpar are stranded in empty reaches of space. Shrouded in perpetual sunset, God is not watching. That sounds cool. Like, I'm not a fan of horror games, but that sounds legitimately cool, man. It's not lights at all. It's all heavy topics are placed right in front of you. Not like FNAF where you have to delve deep. They got every game tagged NSFW, even if it's a Gooner game or not. Yeah, exactly. Like, it was never really going to stop at just the Gooner games. The thing is that they started with the Gooner games to kind of like get their first step. Like, the thing with the payment processors and Collective Shout is that their goal was never to just kill the Gooner games. Because people like Collective Shout, like I mentioned, they're pretty hypocritical when it comes to their core beliefs because they will go after the Gooner games and yet they were the people who were defending the Netflix show Cuties. You know, so they're pretty hypocritical when it comes to that. It's more so about control. And when you want control, you have to start by attacking the lowest hanging fruit, which was the Gooner games. You're going like, hey, look at these heathens playing these anime girl video games. We don't like that. And then once the doors opened for being able to remove games from Steam and itch.io because of this belief, then you can take it one step further and going like, well, now I don't like this one because of this reason. And oh, I also don't like this other one because of this other reason. And there's just like, it's a very slippery slope, man. It is a very slippery slope. They will raid Valve if TF2 is banned. Most likely. Yeah. Okay, mature content description. The developers describe the content like this: extreme violence, gore, mutilation, and worse on PSX-style characters. Okay. So it's just a very bloody game, from what I'm seeing. I'm not gonna play the trailer because it might be too scary. But yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Honestly, those graphics look pretty good. Yeah, these graphics look actually not too bad at all. Look at that. Disturbing. Definitely disturbing. People kept telling me to play this game. Like, I never got around to playing it, but every now and then I'll play an indie horror game. And people were just like, you should play Mouthwashing. And I was like, having never heard of Mouthwashing before, I was like, who wants to what? Mouthwashing? What? But yeah, now I know what it is. Now I know what it is. Okay. It says, all you censorship supporting darts just got played. They tricked you brain dead sacks of shit into supporting censorship because it only started with prawn. Now that they know they can get away with it, they're going after everything. Hope everything you love gets destroyed. That's what I was talking about. You open the door for one thing to get removed, and suddenly everything starts getting removed. Everything. Let's see. So we already saw the Repeal Online Safety Act. We saw this one. What is this one? The Online Safety Act. ProtonVPN uses. Mouthwashing. Oh. Yeah. I saw that Collective Shout responded to their actions and claimed full responsibility. So this is a response that they gave as a response to people complaining about them. As a response to us making a big enough stinker that, you know, it warrants a response from them. It says, Steam campaign timeline. In response to false claims and misinformation about our campaign, we're setting the record straight. Some have asked why we involved payment processors, and others have claimed we are responsible for itch.io removing all NSFW content. Remember, the NSF doesn't just mean the Gooner games, it means adult games. It means M-rated games. So by some standards, you could also say that GTA 5, because it has like a strip club and it has violence, you know, like random violence, that could also be considered NSFW. We raised our objection to rape and incest games on Steam for months, and they ignored us for months. We approached payment processors because Steam did not respond to us. Basically, we complained, we cried and complained and Karenified to you for months, and you refused to do anything, so we went to the managers. Like, this is the most Karen statement here that I've actually ever heard, man. This is literally a Karen statement. Going like, hey, we didn't like the way you're doing this. We didn't like how the fries came out. You forgot the condiments on our order. And then the cashier was like, happens, bro. Sorry, happens. And they were like, oh, I want to speak to a manager now. That's literally what happened. All right, we called on itch.io to remove rape and incest games that we argued normalized violence and abuse of women. Itch.io made the decision to remove all NSFW content. Our objections were to content that involved sexualized violence and torture of women. Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're saying, hey, yep, we did that. We did that. We did that. That was our fault. That's basically what they're saying. But they're also trying to say, like, hey, we only asked for this stuff. It's up to them to remove everything. But to be fair, they could have just, they should have just kept ignoring them. I understand that it gets to a certain point where you just cannot ignore payment processors themselves. But it sucks. It really, really sucks, man. It really sucks because at that point, there's not much you can do about it. I've noticed that slowly indie horror games are shifting from, they got me, to go, oh my god. Dude, one thing I don't like about indie games, specifically indie horror games, is the fact that a lot of them depend heavily on jump scares. Like, I like true horror video games. I like actual horror. I don't like jump scare horror. Because I feel like jump scare horror is cheap. It's like very, very it just plays into like the human natural reaction. You know, it's just like, oh, it gives me a frightened, but it doesn't make me scared. It doesn't take away my sleep at the end of the day. I want a video game, an indie horror game that makes me lose sleep. That would be amazing. They got GTA 5 banned in most physical stores in Australia, apparently. Collective shout. This is how we get pirating. This is the thing, God Emperor of Mankind. This is the whole situation with it, right? Because you can say that, yes, this is how we get to pirating. They're censoring us on these platforms, therefore the answer is to pirate. But just because a game is removed from the Steam store page or the itch.io page doesn't mean that pirating the game is the answer. Not because you can't pirate the game, obviously you can just look for the game and download it. What I'm talking about is that this is directly disincentivizing indie developers into making the games in the first place. So let's say that we lose access to mouthwashing, right? We have mouthwashing today, but tomorrow mouthwashing is removed forever. Because of Collective Shout. Yes, we could pirate mouthwashing, we could look it up on Pirate Bay or whatever and download it, but that's just like that one experience. We only do that for that one time. And then the people that make these games and try to monetize them, because at the end of the day, indie developers, just like Steam, are trying to make money, that's their goal. They're going to be less incentivized to make these compelling stories and try to like disturb you in a way that a horror game like this only could, because they know they're going to get censored. So they're not really going to really have the freedom to really express themselves how they want in a video game. So what we're going to get and what we're going to end up with is a gaming market, a Steam store page that is completely sanitized. It is completely safe for work to a degree, you know, and it's gonna be slop. It's all gonna be sloppy at the end of the day. So yeah, the answer right now, you can say, oh, we can just pirate the game, but that's like the short-term solution. The long-term solution is to just kill it at this, you know, nip it in the bud and just stop this right now. Okay, in your short about the topic, you said they are doing this because of stuff they personally find offensive. I haven't gotten much into it. They find it offensive to the group, to Collective Shout, which was I closed the window. Here we go. The group that personally finds offensive, the group that personally decided, hey, we don't like these NSFW games, literally do something about it, and resulted in mouthwashing getting removed from Steam, is the Australian group known as Collective Shout. That they say that they're trying to protect women, they're trying to protect children, but in reality, it says, since our launch in 2010, we have archived many wins, billboards objectifying women pulled down, sexualized children in clothing withdrawn from sale, interesting statements saying that you support, you know, while supporting cuties at the same time, sexually violent games banned, they're trying to get GTA 5 removed from the stores, Andrew Tate's pimping courses removed from Spotify. I didn't even know those were in Spotify to begin with. And an age verification trial underway to help protect kids from exposure to porn. Last year, we saw a record 34 wins. Right, so when these people are the ones that the payment processors are, you know, kind of like taking guidance from, and this is what they're trying to go for, this is like their win condition, that's the problem here. That's the problem, because when you look at the people and their about and who they really are, it's like convenient that they're saying, hey, we don't like it when children are wearing this specific type of clothing, so we want to remove those clothing from sale. But by the way, Cuties was a good show on Netflix. You know, they're just using this as a smokescreen to really, at the end of the day, have more control. That's what it is. Psychological games are terrifying. I agree with you. Am I dreaming? New Steven stream? Yes. Hello, Asomi. How's it going? Hey, Zed Key Gaming. What's up? Starry Night. Hello. How starry is the night tonight? Andrew Tate's what? Pimping courses. How to pick up chicks. Don't you guys know? I started a pimping course and it got removed from Spotify. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of money there. Had to pawn the Bugatti. And now I drive an Altima. Basically, since our launch in 2010, we have ruined the reputation for many devs and removed some of their sources of money while supporting children working on Netflix. Exactly. Exactly. New news, by the way. Yes, guys, share me all the news. Keep me up to date with what's going on in the industry. Xbox is locking game invites in text and voice chat behind age verification because the UK Safety Act beginning early 2026. Yeah. Xbox Safety Act UK. Yep, this was 2 hours ago. Take the power of Copilot to go on the... Shut up. Does anyone unironically use Copilot? Or could you... If you could nuke it from your computer, would you be able to do that? You know what I mean? Would you do that on a heartbeat? I would. I would. Go after businesses maybe, but if you go after the masses of tired and exhausted people who want to relax, you messed up badly. So it says here, age verification in the UK and Xbox's ongoing commitment to player safety, specifically in the UK. And well, if this passes in the US, well, we're kind of screwed in that aspect too. Swoop. I'm just organizing my stuff. Guys, don't look at my desktop. It's a mess. Alright, age verification. Yeah, at Xbox, we're committed to providing players with a safe and secure experience on our platform since launching our first ever gaming console that could connect players online in 2005. We've continued to invest in state-of-the-art tools and technologies to protect the Xbox community. Over more than 2 decades of experience, blah 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 blah, this is all corpo speak. Here we go. Okay, as part of our compliance program for the UK Online Safety Act and our ongoing investments in tools and technologies that help ensure age-appropriate experiences, players who indicate their account age as 18 and over based in the UK and signing into an Xbox experience with a Microsoft account will begin seeing notifications encouraging them to verify their age. This one-time process for players in the UK ensures that we can continue to provide all players on the platform with age-appropriate experiences. So if I'm playing Call of Duty and I verify that my age is like I'm a 13-year-old, do I lose access to playing Call of Duty? Is that what happens? That would suck. That would really be a pretty sucky experience. Money stolen. Yeah, basically 2030, all games are sanitized and safe for kids. No swearing at all online. Anything that someone finds bad, you get punished for. That's why kids really do need their own space. They need to have their own area, man. On the one hand, protect children. On the second, it was an Aussie woman who tried to pass actual CP book as dark romance. Let me guess, the 4,000-year-old dragon argument. No more COD. It's gonna make you want to go to war in the future, according to them, or it makes you violent. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these were the same people going like, "Oh, video games make you violent, and don't play video games." I'm pretty sure they're the same people. When in reality, I don't think there's ever been any correlation that video games in fact do make you violent. I've never played Animal Crossing and then felt like beating people up afterwards. That's just me. I just really like Animal Crossing. So yeah, we encourage players to verify their age via this one-time process now to avoid uninterrupted use of social features on Xbox. That sucks. That sucks. This really sucks. You know, I gotta say that I'm okay with Roblox doing this. Because Roblox started from the opposite direction. You know, when it comes to Roblox started off as a kids platform. Unfortunately, now it's riddled with adults as well and groomers. That's just the nature of the internet, I suppose. And they introduced voice chat, and in order to use voice chat, you actually have to verify your age. That's I'm surprisingly okay with, because it was a feature that wasn't there before, and they gave you the option to do it afterwards. So Roblox was like, we're not doing voice chat ever, and this is a kids platform, and we want kids to be safe. You know, but to be fair, you know, it is Roblox, and Roblox is really not safe for kids. We've heard the horror stories that happen in Roblox, but at least they tried with that feature. And then when they introduced voice chat, they were like, hey, prove to us that you're of this age at least, and then you can have access to this brand new feature. But once the feature has already been out in the wild for the longest time, you know, online communications for gaming has been what? It's been out for like what, 15 years, 20 years? I don't really keep track. For them to suddenly go like, oh, that's cool. That's cool that you've had this free share of access, and you know, you've had this level of anonymous interactions on the internet, and you haven't had an issue with it. But now you need to give us your ID. That's when I have an issue with it. How long does it take you to make one of your YouTube shorts? A couple of hours. I don't really know. Probably like 4 or 5 hours. Man, you missed a hidden point in the game where you're supposed to beat up people. Ah, right. Right, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm supposed to beat up people because they don't pay their mortgages on time. That's the Tom Nook inside of me. No way we reached the phase where we shrug off groomers as the nature of the internet. Unfortunately, yeah. That's just the way the internet is. Like, if you give the collective populace unlimited access to the internet, there's always going to be a percentage of that populace that is going to be, for example, groomers. And for us to deny the existence of them would be incorrect. You know, the best thing we can do is just go like, hey, we all share this space. We all have access to the internet. Whether you're a dashing, handsome, powerful, strength-based, muscular, amazing person like me, you know, or you're or if you're someone who's a groomer or a criminal, or you know, everyone has access to the internet. That's just the way it is. It's kind of like something that people freely have access to as long as you have a connection, right? So for us to say like, oh, there's no groomers on the internet, you know, it's just not. Yeah, no. No, it's by the nature of the internet. There are groomers on the internet, you know. So it's not like we're shrugging it off, going like, groomers. It just happens, you know. We're just acknowledging like, hey, yeah, they're just here. They're amongst the populace. We just kind of have to accept the fact that they are there, and we have to be responsible with how we put ourselves online, and you know, be safe. And whenever we see one, we call it out and be like, hey, bro, no. Why don't someone make a game criticizing collective shout, and if they ban it, we know? To learn who rules over you, simply find out who you are not allowed to criticize. That's actually a good point. And to go more on that point, I wanted to share this that I saw, that I don't think I've shared yet. Yeah. From what I saw, people on 4chan are really pissed off, and they're like really active. I really thought 4chan shut down like a month ago, and a couple of days ago I learned like, oh crap, 4chan is still up and going, they're still alive. So apparently, in response to Collective Shout, people on 4chan have been trying to organize a group, trying to get them, you know, trying to like undo all the damage that they've done. It says Collective Shout was able to get porn banned on Steam and multiple other storefronts with only 1,000 phone calls. We could easily do a lot more. this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're going to call the F out of them, call these numbers, hold down 0 if you hear a robo voice, US, Canada, and then you just have, yeah, a bunch of phone numbers here. These numbers are reverse billed, which means Visa loses money when you call. We are already getting reports of them getting thousands of calls. So this is how you enact change. You know, this is honestly how you enact change. If you get enough people angry about something and you push them to start acting, that's how change happens. And we like change, especially when it's in the positive side. Whenever we see positive change, we're like, hell yeah, we love that. So yeah, the fact that things have gotten so crappy that Anonymous has to like return from the dead. 4chan has to be the last bastion of internet freedom, and they have to have, you know, this sort of like motivation to want to act. That's when you know you messed up, man. That's when you know things are bad. Right, wasn't Anonymous a group that took credit for other people's work, and it was like a chat filled with feds or something? I think it was, yeah. The way that 4chan works is that it is genuinely just anonymous. You know, the way 4chan works is that if you post something, the post shows up, but you don't have an account. At least not that I know of. I haven't really been to 4chan in a long time. Like, you just post anonymously. You don't have an account linked to you. You don't have any way for you to be like, hey, this is me and this is my post history. You can see everything I've ever done here. You know, you just make a post and people can reply to it, but once the post is gone, it's like literally gone. So maybe they were the ones responsible for it, and they kind of just like disappeared. I don't know. Alright, I'm becoming the news guy. The UK government just responded to repeal the UK Online Safety Act petition, basically saying they're not doing anything. Like every time. Yep. I'll have you know, ZK Gaming. 2 steps ahead. I'm always 2 steps ahead. We already talked about this, though. Yeah. It's at 363,000 signatures, and the UK basically said, thank you for your consideration. No. That's all they said. Yeah, we're gonna get all the kids wearing anonymous masks on TikTok again. That's gross. Oh, the Nikocado avocado moment. Yeah, the Nikocado avocado moment. Dude, one of the funniest things about the whole Nikocado avocado thing, I don't know if you guys were there when it happened. There was this one YouTuber that made an expose video, a video essay, whatever you want to call it. It was one of those, you know, if I go to my YouTube homepage right now, do I get one of them? Do I get one of them? It was one of these ones. Right? It was one of these ones. You know, one of these ones, one of the ones on the right. The ones where it's just like the face, and then there's like a text on the side, and then it's just like a complete breakdown of like, hey, this is what's happening to Nikocado avocado. I will tell you the breakdown of what's exactly been happening with the, you know, one of those video essay type videos. Yeah. From when Nikocado avocado dropped that nuke of, hey, I'm always 2 steps ahead. Literally the day before, someone had dropped an expose, a video essay video about Nikocado avocado that was 8 hours long, studying the downfall of Nikocado avocado, going like, oh, I can't believe this person, you know, your usual, he's done, it's over type of video. So, literally, that one video had a 1-day shelf life before Nikocado avocado completely blew the script and you know, just showed off the fact that he was like, you know, he lost all the weight. I'm guessing it was an internet anarchist video. I don't know if it was internet anarchist. No, it was someone else I had never heard of before. But I just saw that they were actually talking about it, and I was like, holy crap, that's funny. It was one of those people that make 8-hour-long videos, and, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not watching 8 hours long. I'm not watching an 8-hour-long video about the downfall of a YouTuber. I just can't bring it. Just can't bring myself to do it, unfortunately. Yeah, I just joined what's going on. Just talking about the drama, man. Just talking about the drama. Ooh. UK regulators threaten American companies with censorship. We will be monitoring Rumble's position carefully. Okay, this is interesting. This is really interesting. Subway Surfer gameplay on the top right if you could. No. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a better one. Just pick up your phone and put Subway Surfers there, and then just leave that on repeat. Half of that is still too long. I gotcha, gotta love some drama. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just the way it is, man. Hey, ZK Gaming, thank you so much for that. Thank you for your support as a channel member. Yeah, they're not calling them channel members anymore, are they? Are they? I don't really know. Like, now they have a weird subscribe plus button, don't they? Like, they completely changed the whole channel member thing. I think they just realized that the whole, hey, you want to join? Do you want to join? That just doesn't work. Because if I go to... Yeah, if I go to Penguin Z and I go... It doesn't say join anymore. It just says subscribe plus. It's like, hey, do you want to subscribe plus to the channel? I think they're trying to, like, get away with the whole membership thing. And they're trying to do away with the whole membership thing because they realize it probably just didn't stick as well. And, you know, to be fair, it just doesn't sound as nice. Hey, become a member. So they might be changing channel membership to something else. Maybe you'll be a subscribe pluser or something like that. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't really keep track. But yeah, the fact that their UK regulators are already trying to silence other platforms that don't comply with the Online Safety Act, I kind of already saw it coming. Yeah, I kind of already saw that coming because that's the natural next step. Like, from the timeline, like, if I was a government official working on online safety, which is just a fancy word for censorship, my timeline would be pass the bill. Bill goes live, right? The first thing I want to do is... Oh. Thank you for that. Thank you for gifting the membership, dude. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. So nice. So nice. So very nice. You guys are so sweet, man. I'm a member once again. Yeah. Thank you, guys. So yeah, from what I'm seeing, the natural next step is just like, first you say, hey, we don't like the fact that there's porn, and we want to make sure that we're protecting the kids. So that's like the first step. And after you say, like, okay, now that we have everybody's ID, because now we've verified that these users are adults, now we can actually try silencing them. And we already saw that there's certain riots that are happening in the UK. Certain, like, migrant riots or riots against migrants happening in the UK that are actively getting suppressed and censored, and there's people that are actually even getting arrested just for posting about it on social media. Like, if you live in the UK right now and you say, like, hey, I don't like what's happening with the whole migrant situation over there, you can get in legal trouble simply for saying, like, hey, I don't like that, bro. And I just find that so wild. It's just such a wild concept that it's just not a thing here in the US, thankfully. You know, a lot of people like to criticize the US for a lot of reasons, and the US, genuinely, there's a lot of reasons to criticize the US. You know, it's not a perfect state or country by any means, but man, just living here is pretty cool. Just having that freedom to just actively be able to go like, hey, government sucks, bro. Just have the freedom to say that. That's such a blessing, man. UK, you couldn't beat 13 states, let alone 50. That's great. That's awesome. You seen this bump thingy? I don't know what bump thingy you're talking about. Yeah, the UK police is the worst, not gonna lie. They're so sensitive to literally everything. Yeah, you have to understand that the UK police, it's not that they're sensitive, you know, they're not like sensitive little bunnies. The thing with the UK police is that they're not sensitive. They have a goal, they have an objective, and the objective is control. And once they achieve that control, they're gonna be happy, and then they'll be like, hey, let's get some more control. But the reason that they're so sensitive, you could say, is because they want to scare the people. They want the people to know, like, hey, we're the ones who are in control. We don't want you saying that. And I really think that a lot of this thing is just going to backfire tremendously. It's just going to have, like you guys have mentioned, that, I don't know how to pronounce it, the Streisand effect? Streisand? Yeah. Because the more that you actively try to censor people, the more people are going to get upset, and they're going to want to do the opposite of said thing. Holy crap, it's Steven from the popular YouTube's Twitch channel is JustSaySteven. Hello, guy who likes to game. Hello, how's it going? Yeah, I'm genuinely convinced that the more people try to fight back against this thing, the more it's gonna blow up. And it's like weird because from what I read, the UK also just lowered the age of voting to 16 years of age. Right? UK voting 16 years. Yeah. This is something I saw the other day. It said, voting age to be lowered to 16 by next general election. 16 and 17-year-olds would be able to vote in the next general election under government plans to lower the voting age. And yet, these are the people who can't even see what's going on because everything is getting censored for them. So what exactly do they have? Like, what tools and access do they have in order to make an informed decision of what to vote for if they can't actually just even see what the hell is happening in the first place? Quick casual question, what games have you been playing recently? A lot of RuneScape, like always. A lot of RuneScape. I've been recently playing Warcraft 3. A lot of Warcraft 3. I want to get back into it. I just felt like replaying the campaign, and I didn't feel like getting the... Oof. Oh, I don't know, there is a name here or something. Thank you for that. Thank you for becoming a big member, dude. I appreciate it. Much love. Had to get it for myself, too. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's great. That's so great, man. Thank you for support. Yeah, so a lot of Warcraft 3, a lot of RuneScape. We finally found the Switch 2. My wife had been asking me for a Switch 2 for like the longest time. Like every single time we went to Target, we just had to stop by the electronics section to see if the Switch 2 was on stock because she was like, I want a Switch 2. And I was like, well, okay, I'll get you a Switch 2. So we recently found one, and I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart World as well. I haven't played Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I hear it's really, really good. I hear it's in like the top 4 peak games from Nintendo, apart from like Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, and I think Mario Odyssey as well. So I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart as well. You can bump 3 videos from smaller channels a week. 100 best land on new YouTube trending page. What do you mean bump 3 videos from smaller? Like, how do you bump them? Warcraft 3 is fire, not gonna lie. Yeah. Like, it all started because I was telling my wife, I was telling her about something about the story in World of Warcraft, and I was like, well, yeah, this is what's happening in World of Warcraft. I think it was because there was that conversation going on in social media about the story happening in World of Warcraft, how it's just gone to shit, and how there's like the story and the characters and the way that they're portraying them, it's just, you know, this more of this nonsense, more of this like sanitized gameplay that people complain so much about. And I was telling her, like, hey, back in the day, we had Warcraft 3. Back in the day, Arthas Menethil, whatever it's called, Arthas Menethil purged an entire city because they were plagued, but they were still human, so it was a tough moral decision that only a king could make, and that's the sort of thing that wouldn't fly by today's standards, right? Show me a video game right now where a prince would go to a city that has been sickened by the plague, and instead of trying to be like, hey, we're gonna like let's find a cure for the plague, you know, we're all friends here, you know, that sort of like sanitized experience that you're so used to. Instead of that, imagine that you get a prince that goes like, all these people are sick, yeah, just kill them all. We just gotta kill them, every last one of them. Don't let them run away. We have to kill every last one. That's the sort of experience that just we don't get anymore in modern video games. And that's what I was telling her. I was like, hey, this sort of stuff is amazing from back in the day. And just by talking about it, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to play Warcraft 3 again, man. I kind of want to play Warcraft 3. So that's what I've been playing recently. It's been a lot of fun. Just that and the games from the Switch too. Which, don't get me canceled, guys, because I played the Switch too and I got the console. Don't get me canceled because I like to play video games. And the reason I'm saying that is because there was this one YouTuber I watch that actually managed to get the Switch 2, and then he got a lot of backlash for getting the Switch 2, and then he actually made an apology video because he got the Switch 2. And I was like, you didn't need to do that. You're allowed to spend your money and play games and be happy. You don't need to be making apology videos on the internet for buying a Switch 2. Okay, on mobile, when the channel is more than 10K and less than 1 million, I think, when you like a video and then swipe comment section to the right, a bump tab should pop up. A video must be from less than 2 weeks. I think Asomi is referring to that hype feature which bumps videos, yeah. Gosh, this Prince thingy really makes me sad that no one adapts books into gaming. I would love Broken Empire by Mark Lawrence as a game. I don't think I've heard that many adaptations of books getting turned into video games, right? But yeah, I didn't know that there was a hype feature on YouTube. I thought we were only talking about the Twitch hype train and how much drama that has. I just cracked my Switch instead of getting a Switch 2. The game prices are outrageous, like 300 per game, not USD. Yeah, that. If you live in a game where, if you live in a country where the prices are not adjusted for the inflation and like the currency, and you're paying ridiculous prices for said video game, I understand why you feel the need to, you know, crack your Switch and pirate the video games instead. Not something I do personally. You know, if you can afford it, it's some people do that. Some people don't feel the need. Meanwhile, others feel the need because of their living situation and where they live. I think that's why Brazil has like one of the highest rates for video game piracy out of most countries in the world. It's because just how ridiculously expensive and inaccessible it is. And that's why I really have to commend game developers that just make games. You just price the games based off the region that the buyer is currently in. Ready Player One as a video game would go insane. Ready Player One. I think so, but it's just like, it's kind of already about a video game. Yeah, so a video game about a video game. That'd be interesting. That'd be really interesting. You know what I've been wanting to play, guys? And I don't know if you guys would be down for that or not. It's this. I just want to play it and give it an actual proper thing. Like, I've been meaning, interested, curious in playing Pirate Software's game. Would you guys be down for a playthrough of that? I probably would. Yeah, I'd probably be down to do that probably next stream. because I've heard so much about it, and not much of it is positive. And you can see that the recent reviews are overwhelmingly negative. You know, we can just kind of ignore these because this is mostly just based off the drama. But the fact that all reviews are mixed, and the fact that the main criticism about this game is that it's been in early access for over 7 years and it's still not in a good state, I'm just kind of curious to, like, play it, man. I think I might play this next stream. I think it's like a 5-hour experience. We might just tunnel it, depending on how early I can finish a short or something. But I might actually be curious in checking this out. Try to beat it in 2 hours so you can get a refund. The demo or the full game? Obviously the full game. You know, I'm not gonna critique and review and, like, experience a demo. Indie devs make amazing games affordable here. Most indie games make them cheap as hell, so I personally pay full price for them. Yeah, it's always been an accessibility issue. Yeah. So yeah, the only reason I'm interested in checking this out is because I saw a video. I saw a video that was explaining how the game is made and how unfinished it is, and I was like, it can't be that bad. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, it can't be that bad. So I just want to give it a genuine good impression. Like, I want to go in with my heart, with an open mind to see if it really is that bad or if it's really good. Everybody's favorite indie developer. So I know there's something about the dog. I know something happens with the dog. Didn't Pirate Software work on a gooning game? I think this is the only game that he's worked on apart, you know, from working at Blizzard. Which, I know it might be news to you guys, but I heard that Pirate Software worked on Blizzard. It was like an NSFW furry game. Well, Pirate is... It would be on brand. It would be definitely within his spectrum of character. Okay. Okay, we'll check this out. Yeah, 100%. We're checking this out next stream. We will check this out next stream. So yeah, Pirate Software making an NSFW furry game I really wouldn't put it past him. He is a furry from what I understand. And I mean, I feel like if I were to make a video game, I may not be a furry, therefore I'm not going to make a furry video game, but if I were to make a video game, the main character would definitely be bald. He'd be very strong, very masculine, very, very powerful, but bald. Yeah, that's what I would do. 100%. They banned gooning, so it's so over. I don't think gooning is banned. I also honestly don't like the word gooning in the first place. It's such a, like... It's almost as sticky and as gross as the act of gooning itself. But that's just a personal taste, honestly. Some people are fine with it. I personally think it's just like, ugh. I'm not a gooner. I'm not a goon fan. I don't think it is likely as bad as people are claiming, but I also wouldn't be able to critique it properly since I ain't Undertaler. Yeah. Like, I'm not an indie game developer. I've never made a game. So I can't be playing the game and being like, oh, this is poorly coded, this is poorly made. I know there's a lot of developers making videos cracking down his code and being like, this code is written in spaghetti. This is a horribly made code that a novice would make. You know, and that's I can't be one to critique that. I've seen it, and they explain it, and they're like, okay, I don't know much about coding, so it makes sense. And the way you're explaining it, yeah, the code looks bad, but I can play the game and judge it based off what I'm good at judging at, which is like whether a game is good or bad, whether I enjoy it or not. You know, that's like the thing. How do I get the useless blue check marks in your stream? They are for channel members. Yeah. They are for channel members, so all you have to do is give me 99 cents. 99 of your cents, and you get a check mark. Hey, did you know that Thor worked at Blizzard? Did he? Did he? I saw that one clip where he was talking with his dad, and his dad was making fun of him because he was calling himself Thor. I think his dad just calls him Jason. 8 years of development, by the way. Yeah. I think 8 years and still in early access, and it's from what I understand, it's still missing a lot. Yeah, the trailer looked fine. Granted, I don't really understand it. Yeah, we'll play this game next time, and we'll check it out, and we'll see. We'll see. Can he have a mustache? He was Maldevia's fig tree in Second Life, selling furry avatars and living deep in the furry subculture. Apparently there's some more to it. Yeah, I don't really, like, judge him based off whatever he does with his free time. And whatever he does, because, like, the people are allowed to be weird and freaky. I may not agree with it. I may not be applauding it. But as long as he's doing something and just keeping it to himself and, you know, just having fun with it, just whatever, man. It's a free country. Enjoy your stuff. You know, some people are addicted to being furries. I'm addicted to caffeine. Everyone has their vice. But what I do call him out on is on the thing that, well, a lot of people are very angry at him, which is the whole ego thing, you know, the whole refusing to take accountability or just simply just go like, hey, it's okay, I messed up. No. I would love to see you making a Hitman stream while cosplaying as Agent 47. You just need to take out your formal suit from the closet. I have many formal suits from the closet. But no. Maybe at one time, that sounds good. I made a full game and a few short games. Recently done one game jam, first game jam. But I also want to critique that type of thing. I saw a vid on how Undertale is bad coded, so I copied its dialogue system. Yeah. Like, the thing is, a lot of the back-end stuff when it comes to coding a video game, there's so many critiques about how Undertale is a terribly coded game. But at the end of the day, the metric for success for a video game is not whether the game is coded in a certain way or not. It's more so how fun the game is. And Undertale, despite it being a terribly coded game, it appears to be really fun. And you know what else is really fun? That is also a spaghetti code of a video game? Super Smash Bros. Melee. Super Smash Bros. Melee has been dissected, and people have found out that the code is actually horrible because the developers only had like 8-9 months to make the entire game, and yet the game is still amazingly successful. Like, so from the back end, from the front end where the consumer's looking at the product, that's where you can go like, I don't care about the code. Is the game fun? Yes, no. That's what matters. Now, because he goes around and says, he just touts how good he is at coding and is very quick to, like, defend that position, then that's why people have an issue, because if you say, hey, my code is good, this is a great code, this is me putting words in his mouth. I haven't heard him say this specifically, but this is what people are, okay, you know what, screw you. This is what people are calling him out for. If people if he's the one saying, hey, my code is great, my dad worked at Blizzard, and yet then it turns out that his code is actually spaghetti, then that's a reason to call him out for it. I worked at Blizzard, so I can never be wrong. Off topic, when did you decide to become bald? About 1.5 years ago. Tried it once, liked it, so I kept it. Are you going to have a barcode in the back of your head? Maybe. Why not? I wouldn't put it past myself. A barcode that links back to my OF that I definitely have, because I'm going to make it by the time I have a barcode on my head. Because if I get to the point where I have to put a barcode on my head, society's already collapsed to the point where everybody has an OF and everybody's trying to scavenge for scraps, and it's like the Adventure Time post-apocalyptic world. That's where we're at. That's the point we're at, man. As a game dev myself, currently working on a big social hangout game, as long as your game works and people don't have to look at your terrible code, it's completely fine. That's what I'm talking about. That's all that matters. You know what is spaghetti coded and pure garbo? Yandere Sim. I think I saw some updates with Yandere Sim. I don't know if it was because people were criticizing Pirate Software, calling him the next Yandere Sim. But I think, yeah, that probably is, because when I look at Yandere Simulator on the news tab on Google, all I get is like, recreating 5K polygon toothbrush from Yandere Simulator. Oh, that was a funny little meme. Yeah, Yandere Simulator PlayStation for the Department of Trade and Industry in the Philippines. What? What is the Department of Trade and Industry of the Philippines with an icon of 4 fighter jets have to do with Yandere Simulator on the PlayStation, and this was on May 19th, 2025. What? Let me just, what if there's some NSFW stuff? Let me just open that link, because that's confusing. This has nothing to do with Yandere Simulator. Yeah, this is not, that's a clickbait title. This is the most clickbait title. What the hell, Philippines? Why would you do that? Oh, it's a very big thing in the trade and industry business, man. 100%. I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm just recently learning. I didn't know that. Wow. So yeah, this is a case of a video game that is in early access. The developer is widely hated for obvious reasons. The reasons different than the whole Pirate Software controversy. And when you actually play the game is just bad. So I wouldn't put it past the community to like draw the lines of similarity between Pirate Software and Yandere Simulator. Though objectively, you know, Pirate Software, it's not like he's actively hurt people. He's just kind of an asshole, you know? Meanwhile, Yandere Simulator is like, ew. You know? Ew. In fact, you guys want to like know the secret? This is something I was thinking about the other day. Let me actually pull it up. I want you guys to participate in this thought experiment with me, okay? Because I thought about this, and I was like, this makes perfect sense. This makes absolute perfect sense. Okay? Because what you're about to see is going to completely change the way you look at Pirate Software until the end of time. And see that he's not really a bad guy. Not at all. Not at all. Okay, now, I want you to guys think about this right now, okay? Look at this. This is Pirate Software, right? Pirate Software. Take a good look. Really, really take it in, right? Remember the personality. Remember the way he talks. Remember the attitude, right? The presence that he presents himself with. Right? The bravado, I suppose. Wait, he doesn't have bravado. Right? Now, I want you guys to think about that and answer me this. If Pirate Software was Andrew Tate, physically, like if Pirate Software literally just looked like this, I think people would hate him less. He would still get hate, obviously, but people would hate him less because this person is accused of having a lot of like narcissistic tendencies. The same as Andrew Tate. The difference is that Andrew Tate still has a billion fans. Meanwhile, Pirate is just universally hated, right? I think that because Pirate software speaks this certain game and doesn't have like the physical presence to like back it up, that's why it's so easy to take him as a punching bag. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate, he can say the exact same things that Pirate software says, but because he's got like this built physique, people will be like, there's going to be a certain amount of people that'll be like, you know what, he makes sense. Like, that's what I was thinking the other day. I was like, these two have the exact same personality, but one is like universally hated, and the other one is like, well, obviously he still gets a lot of hate, but the other one still gets like, oh, look at this. I just be clicking on stuff, man. I just be clicking on stuff. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking the other day. Like Pirate software is literally Andrew Tate without the physique and the bravado, I suppose. I think that if at least if he hit the gym, if he did a couple of reps, if he gained like 40 pounds of muscle, he could say whatever the hell he wants, and people would kind of just have to like take it. He would still get hate to a certain degree, but they would still there's a group of people that just because you're physically built, they're more inclined to respect what you have to say. And it's just like a nature, like it's like a biological thing. Why was he kicked up? I don't even know, man. I don't know, man. That was just funny. But yeah, that's just like the nature of life. You know how there's like a thing called pretty privilege in the world? Like if you're a pretty girl, you can get away with things a lot easier. You get access to free drinks more often. People talk to you. People are nicer to you just because you're pretty. The same thing happens with like men. If you're a man and you're strong, if you look capable, if you look powerful, if you look like you know what the hell you're doing, you can say whatever nonsense you feel like saying, and people will be like, I feel like he has a point. Meanwhile, when I look at Pirate software, yes, he's very successful. One thing you can never take away from this man is that he probably has millions in the bank. He's got millions in the bank. And that is a sense of success for sure. And he does work very hard because it's not easy to stream 10 to 12 hours a day. But when you look at his physique, when you look at him in the wild, you're like, that guy's kind of lanky, So I think that if Pirate software just gained like 30 pounds of muscle, people would respect him a lot more. They would 100% be more inclined of like listening to what he has to say. Yeah, that's a thing. Is that a green screen and not a setup? I just saw the top of your head disappear. There's no green screen here. I do have a green screen, but it's a fake green screen. I have a fake green screen. And the funny part is that I also have a green screen. It's just underneath my couch. It's just inconvenient, and I don't feel like using it. Yeah. I want to ask a question. If someone has dirt that Collective Shout takes money that are not donations will be taken out, right? I don't know if they take it, if... I don't know. I feel like they could be like a lobbying group. Yeah. They could be... They have like the same amount of power as a lobbying group. They're just there to complain and talk about. That's it. Oh, Twitch support. This is from 2 hours ago. Says, a quick update on view counts. We have teams and tech dedicated to ensuring that the views that show up on channels reflect actual viewership and aren't artificially inflated in any way. W Twitch for that one, which is something I never thought I'd say. It's actually good that they're actually dealing with the viewbot epidemic on Twitch. Is the couch even real? You got me asking questions. Well, we'll figure that out in a second. Ultimately, metrics on Twitch should represent real and growing communities that show up and participate on channels, so we regularly update detection tools and methods. We recently made a change that made meaningful improvements in our ability to identify viewbots, inauthentic viewership, and potentially fake engagement. Pirate software pipe trade. Okay, these changes will... Hey Zany Jacob, what's up? These changes will roll out over the next few weeks, so if your channel was viewbotted, or if some of your viewers are artificial or inflated, you will see an impact on your channel's view count. This means that third-party sites that publish unverified Twitch view counts are going to see the changes as well. We recognize that viewbotting can be out of the streamer's control. And making these changes, our goal is to improve the experience. Kai Cenat gonna start averaging 20k now. Imagine Kai Cenat, his next stream will be 2k. Sheaf GG and I don't know who this person is. Twitch Turbo or Prime should verify your account with a checkmark the way Partner does. Twitch Turbo already gets a battery, don't they? Like a battery icon? Ripperonis, pepperonis, man. Not that it affects me. Not that it affects me. My Twitch stream is like the deadest thing in the world. I have the Twitch stream running because I just... You know, it's just why not? You know, I just, for the people that like to watch there, but I can see how nobody likes to watch on Twitch, at least my stream. My stream is not the Twitch, it's not very, nobody watches on Twitch. I'm more of a YouTuber and I understand that. Maybe at one point I'll be a Twitch, I'll have enough Twitch viewers in order for me to go like, hey, I'm kind of like a Twitch streamer too. But until then, I'll stick to my one viewer. Hello, one viewer on Twitch, how's it going? Right, pirate software viewers shall disappear. I don't know, I feel like a lot of, when you get to a certain level of echelon in the streaming space on Twitch, it's very easy to hide your ability to viewbot. Like, if you're streaming to 1,000 people, I don't think anybody's gonna notice if you suddenly start streaming to 2,000 people and you start viewbotting an extra 1,000. You know? Yeah, that was their last update. That was their last update. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that, like, if you stream to nobody on Twitch, which is, like, my case, and I suddenly have 50 viewers, people are gonna start raising questions because there's like, okay, there's 50 viewers on my stream, but nobody's chatting. You know, it's the live interaction that you expect from a stream just isn't there. So in that case, it's really easy to tell when someone is like viewbotting, but when it comes to someone who's already doing massive numbers, just making those numbers even higher, just to like stay in control of the algorithm, that's very easy to hide that. Hey Damien, what's up? I saw XQC was saying people were viewbotting. Yeah, everybody viewbots when you're like in the top. Yeah. I'm not saying everybody, but people who genuinely care about it, 100%. Yeah. They're just gonna go to Kick and viewbot. What do you guys think about Kick? Genuine opinion. Genuine opinion. Do you guys think Kick is a bad platform? I don't care for Kick. I think it's fine. I think I think at the very start it got a lot of hate. I thought people were wary of starting to stream on Kick because they were afraid that the platform was going to collapse at any second because it was a brand new platform, and the deals that they were offering weren't bad at all. But I think now that they've been in the market for so long, they've actually proven that they're good. You know, they've actually proven that it's a platform with staying power, which has a lot of value. They got too much money. I don't know how. Well, they're funded by stake, And Stake is a gambling company, and there's a lot of money to be made in gambling. Kick be throwing millions at everyone? Well, shit. They should throw some millions at me. They should throw some millions at me. I don't like the gambling aspects, but apart from that, Twitch is gambling. Like, if Twitch didn't have gambling, if Twitch didn't have the bikini girls, if Twitch didn't have all the gooner bait, if Twitch was solely a PG-13 community, then you would be able to say, oh, the gambling on Kick is a problem. Oh, the OF models flaunting their stuff to get more subscribers on Kick. That's a real issue right there. But because Kick and Twitch basically do the same thing, I've heard the gambling argument, and I'm like, they both do it. They both do it. Kick these nuts. Stop gambling if you can't afford it. I don't like Twitch that much either. I really don't like the ads on Twitch. Like, as a guy who has seen streams on Twitch and has seen streams on YouTube, and I've seen like a couple of them on Kick, I personally don't find the problem with YouTube streaming that people are so quick to just dismiss it and prefer it over the Twitch experience. Yeah, the emotes suck. Yeah, the emotes on YouTube are horrible. You know, it's like, what the hell is this? What is this? Nobody knows what that is. Face turquoise covering eyes? That's weird. But other than that, the entire chat system on YouTube is fine. It's just that Twitch has people, and the people that are on Twitch don't really feel like leaving. And they've been there for so long, they have no reason to leave, even though people stream on other platforms. Honest question, tomboys or femboys? Tomboys. Every day. Femboys never. Guy looking when not meant to. Guy looking when not meant to. God. What about this? What about whatever this is? What are these emotes, man? Face purple smiling fangs. Oh, face orange biting nails. See, that's where they gotta work at. They really have to work on this, man. But YouTube is making so much money from YouTube Shorts to like a ridiculous amount that they kind of just don't care about the streaming side of it anymore. Like, what was the thing I saw? Let me see. Yeah, here we go. This isn't that recent, but yeah, YouTube Shorts revenue now matches long-form YouTube content. Ad revenue is now on par with traditional YouTube content, reinforcing Shorts as a major platform for discovery and income. I really don't like how YouTube Shorts kind of just floods the search aspect on YouTube on the website. I really think that they should have like separate search results or something. But the fact that YouTube Shorts has been popping off so much is interesting. I don't like that they say that AI generated videos have been a very good, that they've been leading and they've been helping them make a lot more money. Yeah, I really don't like that, but that is like part of it as well, unfortunately. Is it me or is the stream just delayed as hell? You probably just gotta bump it up to the present. TikTok moderation is more dead than Einstein. And TikTok is... I feel like TikTok is a dead platform. I don't know why. It's just like It's just weird. It's TikTok tried to be more like YouTube and Instagram by posting pictures and like longer videos, and YouTube is going backwards. YouTube is like, okay, no, post more short videos. Yeah, we like the short videos. Yeah. The man grabbing the man crunching his fingers emote is great though. It's funny. It's really funny, man. Yeah, just a theory, but I feel like they make long form recommendations worse on mobile, so you go into shorts. I don't know about that. I wouldn't put it past them, to be honest. But the way I see it is just like whenever the way that YouTube works, I don't think they want to give you a bad recommendation off the bat. Like if I open up YouTube on my phone, I see 3 videos, 3 long form videos, and then I'm immediately hit with the shorts feed. Right. So when I open up my phone and I see YouTube, it's just like YouTube, just like how a content creator wants to like grab your attention immediately, going like, in this video, we're going to do this and this and that. You know, just like immediately like, hey guys, whoa, interesting. The platforms also have to do something similar and curate their algorithms in a way where the second that you see a first recommendation, you want to be more incentivized to click on that, so that way you don't like open the app, see like, oh, that's boring, and then switch off to a different app. Like they want to hook you. So that's one reason why I don't think that they want to purposely make long form recommendations worse on mobile. I have seen that. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but if you go to like your YouTube app and then you open up shorts and start watching shorts, you know, if you just start watching shorts and then you just close your YouTube app and then you open it up again, it immediately goes back to shorts. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So yeah, I know that they do that 100%. But now in terms of like giving you bad recommendations, I don't know. Grow out a beard, please. Listen, don't make fun of me. Listen, last time I did my beard, the very last time I did my beard was a couple of days ago. 2 days ago, actually. I had like the clip that said 1.5 inch, and that's the one I use. Listen, I'll give you guys a little game, okay? This is how I do my beard regularly, okay? Usually it's like no clip. I just no clip here, and then half a clip, and then 1, 1.5, and then 2. That's how I do my beard regularly, okay? So what ended up happening is that when I was at the 1.5, I accidentally put the half clip again, and then I did like, oh shit, I messed up. And then I was like, it's okay, I guess I can fix that with a really low fade or something. And then I was like, it keeps looking uglier and uglier and uglier. And then I just have this until the beard grows back. I just messed up really bad. But at least it's not a clean shave. At least I have this little funny business going on. Yeah, I messed up the way I did my beard. And then it happens, man. It's in the process of growing back. If you don't mind me asking, because you've been making content for a while, is it true shorts pay as well as long form now? Yeah, I think so. I think so. The thing is that with shorts, it's a lot easier to get a lot of views, and with long form content, it's harder to get a lot of views. You know? Hey, Demetrio, what's up? How's it going? Yeah, so when it comes to like, I'll give you an example, okay? I'll give you an example. When it comes to long form videos, it really depends on the topic. It really, really, really depends on the topic. And something I've noticed which really upsets me, which really kind of like pisses me off, is the fact that indie games, indie developers, indie, you know, just like anything that relates to itch.io, Steam, and all that stuff. You know, just gaming in general. Whenever I want to talk about Steam games and indie games, these don't pay well. Yo, Risk, how's it going? Yeah, these really don't pay well. So the way that YouTube works is that based off the content that you make, they pay you because that's how much the advertisers are willing to pay. So there's like a bidding war happening whenever you want to advertise on YouTube. Because when you want to advertise on YouTube, you can be like, hey, I want to advertise to people that watch gaming content, people that watch finance, people that watch beauty, right? You can target that based off your analytics, and you can just go like, hey, feed this ad to videos of gaming. And then depending on the bidding wars, you know, people bid for how much they're worth is how much the advertisements cost, and that's how much the creators get paid. So, for example, a finance YouTuber for 1,000 views, he can get paid $15, right? Because the people advertising to finance YouTubers are the people trying to sell finance courses, which are usually very expensive. But if you're advertising on a gaming channel, well, you're trying to probably sell a video game, right? Or you're just trying to sell like Manscaped or stuff like that, right? So the way that they do it is just like, okay, well, that's not an expensive product, so I don't have to spend that much money advertising, so I'm going to pay that little, all right? So for every 1,000 views on indie games in specific, like that topic of video, I don't really get paid that much. I don't really get paid that much. Like, let me give you an example here. For example, here we go. Yeah, so this is my last long form video that I published. This is the scammer got rich stealing this indie studio's game, right? So this video, which is an 8-minute long video, it made $100, which is not bad, you know. But it made $100 because it got 60k views, 61k views. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, it got 61.3k views, but the revenue per 1,000 views was only $1.79, which is abysmal. This is horrible. Like, usually, on a bad day, gaming videos are supposed to make $2 per 1,000 views. That's considered bad for, like, gaming channel, gaming content in general. So the fact that I'm in like the topic specifically of indie games and indie studios pays this little kind of sucks. It's really not that good. But when it comes to YouTube Shorts is kind of just the monetization system works very differently than the way that monetization works, because it's not so much based off the advertiser specifically targeting that. There's like a lot of different factors, and they do pay competitively. They don't pay $1.79 for every 1,000 views, but they'll pay like 20 cents for every 1,000 engaged views. So yeah, getting 60k views on a long form video is kind of hard. But YouTube Shorts, once you get into like the rhythm, into the algorithm, getting 100,000 views, 200,000 views, it's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. Most indie devs aren't advertising that much, and other brands, although might find it all right, won't get the same investment out of it. Yeah, exactly. Which sucks, you know, because I really like talking about this sort of stuff, you know. I really genuinely like talking about that stuff, you know. So, like, these are my recent long forms. So, I have indie studios sued their own players for 18 million, Farlight 84, indie dev ruining his game studio on purpose, you know, Tech Bros, Schedule 1, you know, so this one did pretty good, though. This one, Schedule 1, this one was just blowing up, and it did pretty well financially. But the whole indie dev stuff just unfortunately doesn't pay well, which sucks because I like making them. But lately I've been having a lot of fun making YouTube Shorts, because YouTube Shorts, I can feel like I can pump them out on a daily basis. And not only that, but I can also just find time to like stream and stuff, you know? The whole engaged viewers thing, the way that the thing with the whole engaged viewers on, yeah, the whole engaged viewers thing on YouTube, they're kind of just doing the same thing that TikTok already does, because TikTok gives you like a straight up number of views, but they only really count the engaged views. They just have a different name for it, and the same thing works for Instagram Reels as well. Like that was already a thing in other platforms. YouTube just 100% just did not count the view unless it reached the engaged views threshold. So they basically just switched them around. So it's not it's annoying that they made the change, but they're just doing what everyone else is already doing in the first place. True short form content is insanely OP. Yeah, short form content is good. It's just you just want to like it's easier to talk to people. You know, that's just how good. That's what I like about it. Short form content is just really good. And then live streams. I still want to do more long form videos. I'll probably get an editor. Like if I can find an editor that wants to like take my live streams and edit them down into like the the whole edited live stream little clips and segments part, I would get back into posting long form videos again. I just got to find an editor for that and make enough money to pay an editor. All right, could you please do a 190k subscription special where you grow your hair back? No. Not gonna lie, if you post a vid every 10 to 15 days that suggests the best indie games would be fire for the indie game devs, I think. Probably. That'll probably work. But right now, I'm just focused on the YouTube Shorts grind and trying to get back out there with streaming as well. That's just the main goal, man. That's just the main goal. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out. All right, I'm gonna GTFO and gonna enjoy the rest of the day and kind of get working on some other stuff. I will 100% play Heartbound, guys. This is coming. This is on the menu. We're gonna play this. We're gonna give it a fair shot. We're gonna give it a fair critique, and to see if it's really that bad that it deserves an overwhelmingly negative, or are people just review bombing. My guess, it's gonna be an okay experience. It's gonna be like, oh, okay, sure. That's just my predictions. Hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay too. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. So yeah, next time we're playing Heartbound and it'll be like, yep, is it good? Hopefully. And if it's not, we'll try to figure out why it's not good. It says, this game is legitimately a scam by a streamer who wants to wear game development as a costume. The game has been in development for almost 10 years and it has barely 2 hours of content. I thought it was like 5+ hours. Dude, bro, if Pirate Software's game only has 2 hours of content, it's gonna be cooked, man. Oh man, that would suck. The only reason I have more than 2 hours of playtime is because of the false advertising its creator peddled on YouTube. Right, I think it will be normal but nothing more. Would you consider releasing the VOD of your videos, of your stream of games, and or making them into videos? It's all depending on whether I have time to edit them, honestly. All the VODs can be found on my YouTube channel. Like, the secret sauce, if you guys are interested, the secret sauce is to just go to my YouTube channel, JustSaySteven. I'll probably change this to just Steven, my name. For now, it's like that. One day, not today, one day I'll update the profile picture to accurately reflect the baldness. Maybe I'll just take this very same picture and I'll just like photo edit it to make it look bald. But yeah, if you go to like the live tab on my YouTube channel, you can see the times that I've been live. And then it's just like the Undertale stream is like somewhere around here. It's just gotta organize it better. That's it. So if you just want to play that. Oh yeah. Could I ask how frequently someone should post on TikTok? I've been wondering that for a while. Post as frequently as you can produce high quality content. If it takes you 2 days, every 2 days. If it takes you 3 days, every 3 days. If you can post high quality content every day, then do it every day. I think that's a tip that Mr. Beast gave once. I might be stealing that from Mr. Beast. But yeah. Some people can post twice a day because they can produce high quality content twice a day. But a schedule should be as consistent as your ability to keep making consistently quality content. You look better with hair, to be honest. Well, it's a good thing that I only have to care about my wife's opinion about that, huh? And she says that I look more manly and masculine without hair. And I'm like, those are two words I feel great identifying with. So I think we'll keep the hair as it is. All right, guys. I'm going to GTFO, all right? Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I will catch you guys on the next one, okay? Bye-bye, good night, sweet dreams. Eat your dinners.